Forgiveness is a tricky thing. Forgiveness is a tricky thing. The best way to avoid, or I should say, the best way to forgive someone is to avoid having to forgive them altogether, right? When you have resentment towards somebody and you feel you have to forgive them, right? Like, oh, I need to forgive this person. When you feel that you need to forgive someone, that is a sign, that is evidence, right? That you've casted judgment on them. It's the judgment that makes you want to forgive them later. Without that initial judgment, there's no need to forgive them later, right? The judgment is the seed that sort of leads into you having to forgive someone, right? The best way to just to avoid having to forgive them altogether by avoiding the judgment. It's easier to avoid the judgment than it is to actually forgive someone once you've already casted the judgment. Okay? When you have to forgive someone, it means you've judged them and you've condemned them, right? You've condemned them first in order to judge them later. And when you condemn someone, you're also condemning yourself. Okay? Why are you condemning yourself? Because now you have to carry the burden as well. It's not just the person you have to forgive, you carry the burden. When you condemn them, you just piled up a lot of pain on your shoulders, right? When you condemn them, you condemn yourself. It's that judgment. It's the judgment that leads to resentment and eventually you looking down on the person. There is a hierarchy. There is a hierarchy involved in forgiveness where if you don't give the person equal ground, then you have to look down on them and say, oh, I have to forgive you, right? When you look down on somebody, you're not giving them equal ground. It's kind of like, my morals are better than your morals, so now I have to look down on you and forgive you, right? Because I resent you, right? I was treated unfairly, right? So now I have to forgive you. And when you do that, there's an underlying judgment there where you're not giving the person the equal ground, right? And then you can't forgive them, right? Looking down is not going to help, right? It's not about putting your pride to the side. It's about putting your judgment aside. At the end of the day, it is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. And that's life.